Hey guys, gals, friends, and pals, this is Paul EastX Twitch, and welcome to another episode of Saturday Game School, where we learn about a different game every Saturday of the year. Tonight, I'm joined on mic by Tom, also known as PerfectZer0.
Guten Tagen.
There he is, and we've also got BrandyKatz off to my side.
Hello.
We miss Tyler, he's doing family stuff, but we're very happy to be streaming Hovership Havoc for Xbox One. It is also available on Steam. It is not on PlayStation. This is one of the rare Xbox indie exclusives. We've got 4 different hover ships to choose from. You got some stats up there. Slow and steady, good damage. Is there a life, or do they all... It looks like they may all just... We'll do Laser Blaster.
I like the way they look.
There's a popular Mystery Science Theater movie, Laser Blast. I'm sure Bob Jones is familiar with that.
Bob Jones says plasma. I like the laser blaster too.
Oh. Alright, we'll try that one next. Sorry, I missed your suggestion before I clicked on it, Bob Jones. But yeah, we'll try it next. Would I like to write a book? That has always been a dream of mine. I kind of don't think I'm ever going to have that much free time in my life. But we'll see. Because, yeah, it requires a significant amount of time. And since merging my family with Brandy's family, I've had less time than I used to have, so it's even harder to do now than it would have been before.
Just get Icky and Ghostwriter for you.
I'm not hearing any game audio. You guys do hear game audio on the stream? Shockwave, install slot 1 or slot 2. No time, we're glad you made it! No Time's a nice friend of the stream. I met him in person at QuakeCon before. I'm wearing a QuakeCon shirt right now. Let me see QuakeCon. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Maybe I'm supposed to shoot that.
Said something about Shockwave.
Achievement! Yeah, baby! First of many. And they put the achievement in a custom place, which a lot of games neglect to do. Although my webcam is covering it up. But hey, I'll take it. Yeah, the ship does have a life meter. I need to stop looking away and running into things. And I'm going to be honest, having no game audio makes it really hard for me to concentrate on a game. Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah, I gotta have some kind of audio, like some kind of feedback. Sound effects are a big deal. It's not so much the music, it's the sound effects.
Is this like Galaga, but...
Well,
yeah, like 3D limited Galaga.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking...
It's...
I almost said 3D, and I was like, but it's not quite 3D.
I mean, it is a shooter. You could refer to this as 2.5D. But it's not really considered the same genre. Galaga is a pure shoot 'em up. This is a twin stick shooter. So they share twin stick shooters like an
Is twin sticks better than one stick?
Galaga Legions, maybe, but not regular Galaga. Yeah, but basically, twin stick shooters are a branch off from regular shoot 'em ups.
Okay.
You know, with a lot of the same mechanics and whatnot. And it controls quite nicely. I gotta figure out how to... Let's see, left bumper uses my thing. There we go. Oh, and then you have to wait for it to recharge after using it. That's cool.
Yeah, better just having the usual limited number of them.
Agreed. New ability unlocked. Let's put that in slot 2. Missile drop. Now I've got 2 of those to rely on.
I love missiles.
I'm glad everyone in the audience can apparently hear the game sound, because not being able to hear the game sound stinks. But we messed around so much with the webcam at the beginning of the stream, we don't have time to restart OBS and try to fix it. But yeah, now that we've got the computer repaired, it's basically a new computer. You know, the hard drives are the same, the case is the same, but the other components are different. So there is an adjustment period there, getting everything working just the way we want it.
Weird that the bullet range is so short for your ship.
Yeah, well, it did display the range when I picked it, and yeah, the other one, I think it had an even worse range.
That's why I was like, to me it's like Galaga, because they're coming towards you and you have to avoid the shots, and it's just more, you can not just, you know, move X axis, you can, and Y axis, you can do.
You can aim in any direction with the right analog stick.
Vectors!
Yeah. Yeah, and that's dual analog sticks.
I remember that game.
Are so good for gameplay.
Remember that game called Vector?
Big hugs, Thyrenia's here.
It doesn't ring a bell. Thyreenia, we're glad you made it.
You're awesome. We miss you.
Huh. And
That's
Darker
back
Player.
when they first started doing vector style graphics.
I do like vector graphics in general.
And Weird Al, you get it.
The Star Wars. Oh, do I like? Oh, hey, Weird Al yanking it. Yeah, speaking of Weird Al, this week he released a video for his Hamilton polka. So he releases the Hamilton polka song when the stage play first came out, the musical first came out. And now that there's a filmed version of it, they've used footage from it to make a proper music video for it. And it's quite good. Even if you've never seen Hamilton, if you like Weird Al, it's definitely worth a watch.
Hey, it's all about the Pentiums, baby.
Yeah, that is a great song. And I really like White and Nerdy, too. I died. First death of the night. I'm sure there will be a little bit more. Laser Blaster level 1 plus XP level up. So I'm leveling up my individual ships. Is that it? Shots taken. It counts. That's interesting. You get XP for all these different little things. So I'm glad it has some kind of overall metagame, some kind of leveling up progression system. Yeah, I do need to try ray tracing on the computer just to test it. I haven't had time to play even one game on the computer, so
It's true.
Just, yeah, a lot of family stuff and looking for job stuff. Plasma, right, which is Plasma Gatling right there.
And then Tom gets... I forgot which one you said you wanted.
I didn't even make anything. I was making fun of the things. I said Master Blaster.
Oh, gotcha.
Thank you for keeping track of that, boys.
For those of you that know your video games.
You think you have Blaster Master?
I remember that one.
Oh, nice rapid shot. Drone auto turret. That sounds like fun. Let's use it now. Oh, does it just stick around?
You have a mag.
Good. Yeah, it is like a mag in PSO. Although, it got killed pretty quickly.
But it also did a lot more than the mags in PSO too.
You think so? Well, they... Depends. Once you get them set up, they'll do a little bit for you. Nice. That was one of Matt's... Well, Matt, if you like Blaster Master so much, you know there are 2 of them for the Switch. Blaster Master 0 and Blaster Master 02 or something like that. And they're supposed to be very good. I haven't played them, but they sound cool. Switch is just chock full of great classic games and updates to classic games that don't get released on anything else or haven't been released yet. Speaking of classic games, Bloodstained Circle of the Moon 2 just came out. Bloodstained Circle of the Moon is not the main Bloodstained game, it's the NES style game that they released a lot, like, before the main game. And now there's a sequel to that, so it's another NES style, Castlevania style game. Looks quite good. I played a decent amount of the first one, but I have not beaten it. I played it on the Vita.
I didn't think Bloodstained was that old a series. I thought the first one was Ritual of the Night.
Well, Ritual of the Night's the one that got kickstarted, and it's the main game. But knowing that it's a Castlevania-inspired game, they made an NES-style game for it. You know, it's not truly from the past, but it is a true classic-style game, and it's great. There aren't a lot of games that play just like the old-school Castlevanias anymore. Like, even if they make a new Castlevania, it's not going to play like the old-school ones. They haven't played that way for a long time.
As long as they don't go back to 3D Castlevania. Because that was a horrible mess.
Yeah. Well, it depends. You know, like the first ones were the one that everybody liked was by that Spanish studio, and I played that and I thought it was pretty good, although it wasn't as Castlevania-like as I would have preferred. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like Lament of, is it Lord of Shadows? Is that it?
Yeah, I think Lord of Shadows is what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, a very solid, good 3D action game, just not, like, there's no Castlevania music in it, and not enough Castlevania enemies in it, so it just doesn't feel enough like a real Castlevania game.
Yeah, I think it was just another game that just got part of the name because it was sold better that way.
Yes, that does seem to be what it was. Like, they converted it midway into Castlevania, and it's mostly in name only, but not entirely.
Okay.
But yeah, there were a couple of 3D ones before that. I mean, there was Castlevania 64, and that got like an upgraded version. People didn't like that so much. And then there was a PlayStation 2/Xbox one. Was it Lament of Innocence or something? I don't know. There were 2 of those, and people didn't especially like them.
I've never played Castlevania.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, we'll have to
Seriously.
fix that. If Harmony of Despair were...
The Simon series. Simon was the best, Belmont was the best Castlevania character.
Well, we do have Castlevania collections, so she could try out the originals that way, although they're quite hard by today's standards. And you saw when I played Dracula X when we did our PC Engine stream.
Yeah. So the different color enemies worth different amounts of health?
That's a good question. One thing I know is that they can overwhelm you. Like, they take a lot of hits, and that can be frustrating. Like, I have no trouble shooting at them.
Did you have a loot buster? Like a power weapon?
I have a click in the left stick. Let's see what that does. Oh, it's a thrust. So to get away, you can click in the left stick and thrust. Yeah, no, I mean, like, you find these weapons as you progress, and you get them temporarily. Mine drop. But, no, you don't have a bomb. And a bomb would be really nice.
Hey, Brownmeister.
Brownmeister, we're so glad you made it, dude. Remind me to resubscribe to you, Brownmeister. I feel bad that I've allowed my subscription to lapse. I'm also currently subscribed to Matt Wrestling because one of his friends was nice and gifted a ton of subscriptions. Yep, Brandy too. By the way, our friend Matt Wrestling does stream every Thursday and also other days. Perhaps too many other days. But I do encourage you guys to follow him and try to tune in when you can. At least on Thursdays I'll be there to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a short-range weapon and they give the enemy a shield that reacts to distance.
Brownmeister.
How unbalanced is that?
Brownmeister! Yay, thank you so much, dude! Did I just die? Or did I win? I won. Did it pop up a notification on the video, or did it only say it in chat? Did you notice?
It just said on the video. I just saw it in chat. But...
Did anyone see if it popped up a notification when Brownmeister subscribed just now? Because I did not hear the notification like I should have.
I didn't see.
That's worrisome. Yeah, there's a lot of technical things to try to solve here, and even Brian, unfortunately, hasn't had much of a taste for participating in streams as of late.
Try dropping mine.
I did. There's these little blue dots. But, oh, I can drop them again. Okay, let's do it again. Yeah, there you go. Do you see they're kind of glowing right here in front of my... Yeah, they disappear on their own after a little while. Did he say something new? We're saying... No sound. Okay. But, you know, Brownmeister, we cherish you. Thank you so much for subscribing.
Press LB, Paul.
Okay. Oh, what does that do? It's like doing an EMP around it and bouncing around.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting variety of things. I hope it has good music. You know, like, the quality of the music has a direct impact on my interest in a shoot 'em up in general. That goes for twin-stick shooters, too.
Yeah, those are actually the one type of game where I just turn off the music because I get careless. Because the sound effect doesn't actually do anything in the game.
What doesn't?
Sound in this type of game, the sound really has no direct impact on gameplay.
Yeah, not well.
I typically just turn it off and play something else audio-wise.
Like, I want to hear the enemy shots, and that kind of reminds me to dodge. Like, obviously you can just see them, but hearing them it just helps my attention span. But I do understand why, like you say, there's no voice acting probably, so you don't have to worry about missing story by turning the sound off.
Well, also because it's not like positional audio, so it's not like you hear a shot differently when it's coming from behind you.
Sounds exactly like me in
right.
PerfectZer0. I would always have music going and have the volume totally off. Like,
let's see if I can find one of these ships with decent range and damage, because the range and damage are a bit of a problem.
and
I still remember by one experience with the 360. I forget what was the Halo game that I launched with the 360?
Wasn't it
It's like Halo.
It's 3, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, I did not realize it, but I had the Xbox set to play music, and I started Halo, and for an hour I'm trying to figure out why I was hearing Beethoven as I was playing Halo and not actual like game music.
And
I'm like, something's wrong.
Oh, that's funny. And look, after you level these guys up, then you can spend points to buy upgrades for them. So it looks like it's a bit like a roguelike in that respect, because it starts out hard, and then the more you play, the easier it should get, theoretically. Beethoven and Halo.
Korn is great grinding music. I'm just going to put it out there. Anytime you have daily quests you just have to do over and over again, Korn's the way to go.
I've always been a fan. They have a song in the Street Fighter 2 animated movie, the English version of it, and I've always been a fan of it. Yeah, we do have some nice range.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. It doesn't one-shot them, but... it's probably...
Yeah, but
is there any way to get my health back? Yeah, it does at least hit.
Use abilities, Paul. I like Bob
Use your bomb.
Yeah,
bomb,
okay, I'll use it
bomb.
next time. Whoa, Bob Jones.
Ooh, falling missiles.
Ooh.
So I understand you watched that new show on Netflix today, was it? Tom,
yes,
what was it called?
I dropped yesterday, I think. The Old Guard.
The Old Guard, and that is based on a comic book. But tell us a little bit about it without spoiling it.
The movie's not that bad. The premise is pretty much straight up video game trope. Basically, there's a group of immortal warriors that are being hunted for their abilities of being immortal by a big pharma, because they want to, of course, steal the ability to turn into something remarkable.
Gotcha.
And Charlie Theron's in it?
Yep. And the trailer pretty much gives it away. There's a new immortal that shows up, and that complication is slightly through the other immortals. The character basically is there for you to explain what's going on.
Nice. POV character.
The fight scenes are awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, the way the game's...
Justin's here. Go on.
The way it's told, it is such a perfect storyline for a video game. They definitely need to make that to a game.
And Wrath Attack too.
Ooh.
Panda.
I got a ship speed increase, and this seems it's on top of my weapons and stuff, so that's nice. I wonder how permanent it is. It'd be nice if, you know, it can carried over through playthroughs. That sounds really cool. How many episodes are there?
It's just a movie.
Oh, it's a movie.
Yeah, it would have been good to make it a series. But I don't think Charlie does need a series.
So, a movie. So it tells the whole story right then and there. Does it leave room for a sequel?
Yep. Yes and no. It leaves room for pretty much whatever they want. Because they do the whole, this is the end of this story kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Hey, Deadpool.
That's encouraging.
Philosophy.
Deadpool's here. Philosophy. We love him.
I said that wrong.
Philosophy.
Heaven Smile.
I believe
Like I was saying,
Heaven Smile was there on Tuesday, so thank you for that, Heaven Smile. Go on.
like I was saying in Discord, if they don't turn it into a video game series, they're missing such an obvious opportunity.
So it sounds really cool, and we are all gamers, so we need to check it out.
I really love crossovers.
Well, I can easily even plot out the video game. You'd start the game one would essentially be a ripoff of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, starting all the way back in possibly even in the ancient Greece type of thing with the first immortal, and then you forward through time. You do part stealth, part action adventure with a standard storyline in between about surviving as an immortal in the battles.
We've given this a lot of thought.
But it doesn't require a lot of thought. The storyline builds itself. If you watch the movie, they give you the hints as where you can take it.
Oh crap! You never have enough room to maneuver.
You need to use your abilities, dude.
I did use them some. They take a while to charge up. But
you had your bombs. You didn't use the bombs.
My bad. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing, again, where when it becomes available, there may be a sound effect for it, and I just don't hear it, so it doesn't remind me to use it. And there may not be, but... Yeah, in PSO2, for instance, when your mag ability comes up, there is sound.
I agree with you, Mr. Magic Feet. Not Mr. Sorry.
All right.
That was Bob Jones. He says there's one left to try.
I think he's saying I'm trying too many.
No, he said there's one
Last
left to
ship
try.
to try. Oh my gosh, this is so short range. Alright, let's try that sucker.
Yeah, I think you need to go back to the other one.
It's a nice AoE.
Yeah, it does have a nice spread, so it seems like it'll be easy to hit them when they're up in your face. There's an annoying reload time or like an overheat time when you fire too much. Don't care for that. It doesn't really lend itself well to this kind of game.
But it also could make it a slightly difficult dynamic you have to overcome.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
So, yeah.
I think it would be better to be more arcadey, where you can just fire as much as you want, period.
Congrats, Panda.
Yeah.
Try the special, see what that does.
Okay. It does this random EMP pulse around you that causes a little bit of damage to enemies.
Thank you, Heaven Smile. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Watching the videos and liking them helps a lot. So, because we have to show those to the PR company. That PR company that gave us SpongeBob, they handle so many big games like The Witcher, for instance. So, we gotta stay in their good graces, and we do that by showing them proof that people like the content we produce, by showing them videos with likes and views.
Yeah.
In other words, Cyberpunk. Paul wants himself some Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah, they do. They handle Cyberpunk as well. Although, like, that one is so high demand that we're unlikely to get it because being like a small scale streamer. But yeah, it never hurts to try. Like, keep a good relationship going with them. That's good for us. It gets us cool games like that to stream in the middle of the week, and every now and then on Saturdays. We have done a couple of Saturday streams with donations from them.
It looks like you have an overshield, Paul.
Really?
Ooh,
How neat.
yeah.
Can they get through it? Oh, they can still get through it. It just it hurts.
Very ineffective overshield.
Yeah, I mean it hurts them, but they can get through it. Challenging game. I think it has local multiplayer, but we haven't tested that. Like, have you seen anything that says like player 2 join in? I haven't seen anything like that, but if it does, the backup would be nice.
You mean me dying over and over again, getting their aggro so you can actually
exactly
kill
what I meant. Yeah.
I've been getting all kinds of Amazon advertisements for Ready Player 2.
Cannon butter.
Really?
Yeah. The second book, basically, follow up to Ready Player 1.
Huh. I heard the book was better than the movie, but I also heard it wasn't anything too amazing. So I don't know.
No.
I did not level up that
Well,
one.
I don't know about Ready Player 2. Ready Player 1 is still considered a classic for the genre.
Yes, some people really like it, and some people like it. It leans very, very heavily on the nostalgia. Okay, we're gonna go back to Laser Blaster.
Yeah, Bob Jones
that's
suggests
definitely your best
upgrading
one.
the range on the Gatling.
Oh, nice! I did get a permanent speed increase. HP amount, shot rate, weapon damage.
I would do weapon cooldown because that seems to be a huge thing.
That was an achievement too.
Yeah,
weapon
nice.
cooldown. Agreed, and that was not even very expensive. Critical hit rate, don't really care about that. Shot rate, yeah, shooting more is better. Little individual speed upgrade, and permanent ability upgrade. I can put some points into that. All of my ships can go faster. And I've still got 15 left, so I'll go ahead and buy some critical hit rate. All right, to go back. The one thing I could say about the UI is the fonts they use are kind of ugly. This is probably done by not a lot of people, I would imagine, but like the UI could be improved a bit. Is that the cat?
Yes.
The cat's smacking into the green screen. They should make Game of Thrones 2, Heaven Smiles says. They are making a prequel series eventually.
I didn't hear that.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah. HBO actually commissioned scripts for a bunch of different like prequel pilots, and then they picked one that they're gonna go with.
Nice.
Yeah. Alright, I can shoot a little better now. I'm excited about that. Here we go, temporary shield. It blocks projectiles only. That on that bumper. Darker Player says there's going to be a lot of naughty stuff in Ready Player 2 for some reason. Is she just saying that because of the title, or did people actually say it's going to be naughty?
I can't even imagine that.
You really want to be naughty.
Considering the first one had, if they do make another movie, it's going to have all those franchises in it that they wouldn't be able to get away with any of that.
That is true. I've read about the first movie. I haven't watched it. But I know there's a girl who's supposed to be hideously disfigured, and all she has is this minor scar on his face, on her face. I think that's pretty silly.
Yeah, when they finally show her, because it's TV, or it's Hollywood, they're not actually going to show an unlikable character.
Balanced. What is that for? Have an offensive and defensive ability equipped at the same time. Well, cool. I love getting achievements. Yeah, but it's just silly. Like, oh, I'm so ugly. And like, no, a minor thing like that does not make a person ugly at all.
Use your abilities.
Oh yeah, good idea. Okay. Stay away from my shield. But they can get through the shield.
Yeah, it's just projectiles.
Well, you can use your projectiles, you know, you do have one.
Okay, I will use it on the next thing when I have more enemies. What just hit me? There's not even any enemies.
The enemy that you didn't kill.
Really, there was one?
Yep, the little red guy following you around.
Darker Player's just saying it's the title that sounds naughty. Well, maybe you're right.
I don't know, to me it reminds me of tag team wrestling, but that could just be Matt's, influence. Player 1, player 2, player 1, player 2. We're back at the relief pitcher.
That's funny, you drop the enemy right behind your shield.
Yeah, why'd they do that? So we didn't get to watch The Old Guard, although we will soon. We did watch, let's see, the new episode of Stargirl, which I thought was a very good episode, although it was a little shorter than the normal ones they do, which is weird. Are you keeping up with the show or no?
Honestly, no. It's too much on my plate. Lately, I've been working way too much.
Oh, that's too bad. But yeah, I know you are a hardcore working dude. Drone wave shooter, launch a spinning drone. Okay. One thing about Stargirl, which I really like, and I especially enjoy the production values of it, unfortunately, it's a good and bad news scenario for the future of the show. There is going to be a Season 2. They have commissioned a Season 2. That's good. But the bad thing is it's moving to be a CW exclusive, and it will no longer be a DC Universe, shared production. That means the production values are going to go down. The same thing happened to Supergirl. The first season was on CBS, and it had higher production values, and they moved to CW, and the production values dropped. Doesn't mean, the show necessarily got worse when they moved to the CW on that one, but it just doesn't use as much, wire work and things like that. And I really enjoyed the wire work in the first season of Supergirl.
Oh, you really need to learn to use your abilities as soon as they show up. It's not a game where you hold on to them.
Well, hello, Mr. Critical Pants. Alright, well, I just got a slow motion ability, which doesn't even seem like a good ability, but... Does Stargirl take place in Nebraska? It does take place in, some kind of small town.
Blue Valley.
Blue Valley, which is a fictional town, so I'm not sure if they've said the state or not. That's a good question.
AC Valhalla?
It's definitely a red state for that one.
Blue Valley, Nebraska.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Oh, okay. Thank you, Bob Jones. Yeah. Besides that, we watched the new episode of Doom Patrol, which also was pretty good, although they're deviating from the comics so much with what they're doing with the current storyline that it kind of drives me crazy. But
Cliff's not cursing as much.
Yeah, that's true. Cliff Steele, Robot Man, who is played by Brandon Fraser, he did cuss less in this episode, and that's a plus because the cussing is quite obnoxious in that show.
Seriously, every time he talks.
Yes, it's too much.
Yeah.
There's a reason most shows and movies don't do that. It's because it's unpleasant. That's why.
That's just not necessary. It's it shows a lack of creativity.
Yeah, and it's weird because every other aspect of the writing is so good. It's just the dialogue having that much cussing. Everything else is fine, but who knows? They think they're justifying their, online R-type rating by doing so. Yeah, well, I still think you should try it, Heaven Smile. It's not
Just
overly...
ignore him when he talks.
It's
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mopey show. You know, like they don't seem to want to let the characters be happy. And
The first season, though, is really good.
Yeah.
yeah, loved it. And so far, I'm also enjoying Season 2, but like I said, basically there's a character from the comics that's also in Season 2 called the Candlemaker. And what they're doing with Candlemaker and the person who can summon him are so different that I just don't really love it.
I know.
I don't actually want that one.
Promoting that.
Yeah,
I
quite
couldn't
a
even
shame.
imagine that going to CW, considering their budget situation.
Yeah, because Swamp Thing really looks like a movie, and it actually cost them as much as the movie cost to make. But I would take a trimmed down Swamp Thing Season 2 over no Swamp Thing Season 2. You know,
It was so good.
Special Paul.
And yes, Constantine too. We love Constantine.
Oh yeah, but at least, but as you know, Brandy, although we haven't started watching it, Constantine does keep going in Legends of Tomorrow. So it's nice.
Yep.
He's still around, even if the stories aren't all about him.
It's the same actor and everything.
Yeah, and so sometime we'll watch that. There's some animated movies that he's in. He's in 3 of the animated movies.
We watched
2 of them are good. The newest one, Justice League Dark. What is it called? Doomsday War or something? What is it? Justice League Dark.
I honestly don't remember. It wasn't that good.
Apocalypse War. That's it. Yeah. It was not good.
Special Paul.
It has some interesting things about it, but it's like way too dark and just like mean-spirited, and everything that people don't like about DC Comics and movies, they decided to double down on with that movie. Not good.
But yeah, I also don't know why they canceled Constantine. It was a really good show. One of my favorites.
This is one of those where the network that it was on, it was just a mismatched network. NBC did not have the stomach for it. That's a shame. And you know,
It wasn't
Fox...
even that dark a show.
No, it wasn't. It was fine. I mean, like, considering that it's all full of demons and stuff, it wasn't too terribly scary or anything like that. Nanodrome Storm. Okay, we'll just...
Nanodrones, yay!
Yeah. This is fun.
Those fascinate me. I want some.
You want to swarm of nanodrones?
Yes!
What nation are you planning on attacking?
Nobody! I just want them to do things like, make supper. That'd be awesome.
That's what just popped into my head.
Do the dishes.
You wouldn't exactly be able to use a swarm for that purpose.
I don't know.
Now, if you had
They can group together.
a nano device, that'd be a different story.
Yeah. It'd be like colonialism, you know?
In TV
All working together.
What? Colonialism's not good. Anyway, in TV and
Talking
movies...
biology.
In TV and movies, they often have nano swarms or nanobots be used for, reproduction of injury, repairing injuries.
Yeah, that
would be nanobots. Swarms are very, very different creatures.
Well, if the
But that
swarm
too.
comes, it hits your body and it fixes everything. And you're fine. How about that?
Well, no, swarm's more of a single purpose. They eat you, whatever they got with.
Yeah.
Well, that's very specific.
Well, look, they can eat all the trash, and that would be awesome.
Yeah, we could use that. Trash
See?
does take up space.
Yeah, until something chews up the programming and they decide that everything's trash.
Yeah,
We watch
that's
that
true.
movie too.
Darker Player asks what we think about the next generation of consoles costing $70 for AAA games instead of $60. I think it is a good thing myself, although that may not be a popular opinion.
I think
it's
they're gonna.
complete nonsense. It's
I
just
think they're
it's
gonna-
just a point for more money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I think they're gonna do it
obviously.
as high as they can and still get the sales.
It's not
Yes.
going to go to developers. It's not going to be used to improve production values or anything like that. It's strictly a point for more money because the profit margins are better than it's ever been historically speaking. The marketplace
Especially now.
is bigger than it's ever been historically speaking.
Well, the marketplace is bigger, but there's more competition than there used to be.
Actually, no, quite the opposite. Less competition if you actually look at it. Outside of indie, there's only a few large format studios. So there's very little competition. Almost everybody's owned or licensed to somebody else.
Well, I would say the additional competition would just be including indie and you got 3 platforms.
True, but indie doesn't actually count if you actually look at it, because the indie money, the indie games are not going to $70. That's just not
True,
gonna happen.
yeah.
It's not practical. So it doesn't. They don't really add exact math. You need money. Is more competition between those companies, which are again outside that market value. So the companies that are affected are the guys that make AAA class games. And smaller studios have shown they can make a AAA game without charging AAA price and still be very profitable. And on top of that, again, the companies that are actually interested in doing it are the ones that have marketing control. So, for example, the EAs, who are they competing with when they own all the sports franchises?
2K and maybe Sony
yeah,
too.
2K doesn't really own. And 2K finally got a franchise after how many years on that. But
well, they've had
it's
NBA 2K for a long time.
Yeah. But that's the same thing. It's certainly they're not competing against anybody. They're doing it because they can get away with it.
Well, you know, inflation is just a normal function of a capitalist marketplace, and it's not inherently bad. Like, prices do go up over time. Your prices at McDonald's and everywhere go up.
You're right, but you're forgetting how inflation actually works. Inflation is only a stable reference if your material cost goes up. Material costs aren't going up in direct correlation because material costs are actually going down because everything's switching to digital for the most part. They make more than 80% of their sales from digital. They have no material costs outside of development and marketing.
The physical thing isn't the only cost, though. Like you said, marketing and especially the talent itself, that cost goes up. Although they do outsource things, which is a way of saving money.
And they're constantly laying off people and switching production teams, so that cost is heavily controlled. So again, it's like it's not unlike most industries where you work for X company until you quit and go to another company. In the gaming industry, you finish a project, they lay off half the people, or they move and only keep some of them to move on to other projects.
I mean, it is a shame that they do that.
Well, yeah, but like I said, with that model, it's not directly affecting anybody but the lower level developers, and they're not the ones getting any of this money. So the whole argument about cost evaluations doesn't actually add up. So it'd be one thing if there was a direct correlation with their business.
Well.
It still wouldn't happen anyway. It's just the reason is BS. I have no problem with them saying we're going to charge this because we're going to charge it because that's what they're going to do. But trying to hide behind market pressure is complete nonsense when they control the market.
Well, there is nothing we can do about it. You know, I mean, like some people really don't like DLC and such, but you can't. Like, DLC won't go away because you cannot organize it to such an extent that like nobody ever buys DLC. It just doesn't work that way. Like, there is demand for these things, so it's going to happen. Let's see, missile, sure, thank you.
It would pretty much have to be.
It's kind of like the whole death and taxes.
Good luck.
Exactly, it's like the whole death and taxes. Nobody wants to pay taxes. We all do because the alternative is not a pleasant experience.
Right.
We just don't get government services because the government will come knocking on our door. And that's essentially how it works. They control the market, so you either want the product, you either get what you want, or you get what they're giving, and you don't really have a choice.
One good thing here is I'm getting stronger. The more you play this, the more upgrades you can buy, and the easier it gets, which is really cool.
Yeah, last level we were having a good conversation, but you did a really good job of avoiding damage. I was like, dude, you got it at the last step.
Yeah, my shots are, I mean, they're just getting more powerful. Right. So it looks like the currency that you buy upgrades with is the little things that the enemies drop. Leveling up, I don't know if it's related to the upgrades or not. It's a little confusing.
It doesn't seem to be.
Way to go, Scott!
Scott.
Yeah, I hope everybody is reading the newsletter every week, guys. You know, the editing the videos and writing the newsletter and sending it out, it just takes a lot of time and energy. And recently I was talking to a guy who tunes into the stream every now and then. He's not here tonight. He tunes in every now and then, and I like him a lot. You know, I mean, I like all of you guys, but this guy, I do really like him a lot. And but like, I don't think he reads the newsletter, and it's just like, come on, guys, even if you can't make it to the stream, read the newsletter anyway. Just do it for me. It's so much trouble to write that thing. Just do it and make Papa Paul happy.
I think he likes her. Can't even say it. Never mind. I ruined that joke.
He likes big butts and he can't lie.
And no other brother can deny.
Yeah, what else have we been watching? We watched a movie last night, a Japanese giant monster movie called Gamera the Brave. Have you ever heard of Gamera, Tom? Yeah, well...
Who hasn't heard of Gamera?
Nice. Well...
Me until yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Godzilla is better known. Gamera is not as famous as Godzilla because they just don't make as many movies, regrettably. Like, the last one they made was Gamera the Brave in 2006. That was quite a while ago.
That's all.
Yeah, but if you know your Godzilla, you have to know Gamera.
Yeah, because it's the only competing giant monster movie franchise, and the movies are, you know, they're very solid. There's some older, cheesier ones, but all four of the newer ones have been quite good. And yeah, Gamera the Brave has a lot of character development. It spends a whole lot of time with, like, Gamera and the human characters before anything bad starts happening. So by the time the bad monster becomes a threat, you're really invested in the characters and everything, and that, like, not a lot of giant monster movies do that. And, like, people complain about the American 2 Godzilla movies, you know, King of the Monsters and the one before it, that they have unlikable characters, but thankfully Gamera the Brave does not have that problem, you know. And I just...
You didn't like the one with Matthew Broderick?
Or that one. No, I definitely did not like that, but that's not even a real Godzilla movie.
That was the best one. It had an awesome soundtrack.
I like
well, maybe it had a good soundtrack, but real
That's the only
like
reason I like it, really.
yes, I mean hardcore Godzilla fans
Genetics.
call that one Geno, Godzilla in name only, because it's not even Godzilla, you know.
That's
it's
what
just
I like about
it's a
it, the
giant
genotype.
reptile that can't breathe fire, and it has Jurassic Park babies for no reason. It's just ridiculous. The Gamera Rift Tracks is on Amazon Prime. That's good to hear, Bob Jones. Heaven Smile says I need to be sending out the newsletter via fax. You guys know in high school, back before the days of the internet becoming a common thing, in high school, I wrote a fanzine. A fanzine is like a self-published magazine, and that was fun. But it was called Eclectic, and we had video game reviews and music reviews, and we had poetry and comics, and it was just really neat. But also back then, printing and photocopying was not affordable, so it's like we could barely even get an issue out. So we only made like 1.5 issues. But anyway, yeah, that kind of stuff's in my DNA. Level complete. Oh, I can buy an upgrade right here. Why does it say temporary like that? Temporary hovership upgrades, temporary ability upgrades. Does that mean I don't want to put any points into it right now? Because aren't those things supposed to be permanent? I'm not putting anything in if it says temporary.
Yeah, I wouldn't if it says temporary.
Generating level. So it looks like there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, something like 10 levels or something. And that it does get more and more challenging with each level, so that's why we haven't been able to... I think we've only gotten like maybe 5 or 6 in.
But it's also because you don't use your abilities.
Don't use my abilities well. There's an ability. Projectile shield. That one's not even any good, so we'll replace it. There's an ability for you.
He says it's only because it's an upgrade from beating that level. But that's why it's temporary.
But I mean, I don't get it. If I was to spend my points, will they be gone? I feel like they would be gone.
I assume so.
Yes. A little bit confusing here. You can see the game could use a little bit more polish. I also wish it had more visual variety, because like the shapes of the levels are different, but they all basically look the same, and it's not like, particularly stimulating environments.
I don't know. I like hexagons. They make me happy.
Yeah, nothing wrong with hexagons. A lot of strategy games.
And yeah, dreams in battle simulators.
Brandy, you read a book recently, or you've actually read a couple of books recently. What series were those books in?
One of them is the main character's name is Rachel Mariana Morgan. It's also called the Hollows series, and they had finished the whole series. Like, there's 13 books, and they had finished it. Did that last wording to the future and everything that's working out and stuff like that. And then at the beginning of the summer, she released the 14th book, which kind of goes back before that, and they even kind of allude to the scene that happened at the end of the last book, and I loved it because it made me cry like a baby.
the thing that the Netflix series is based off of?
I don't know. What's the name of the Netflix series? I'll have to check.
The Hollow?
Probably not.
I will have to go look.
Animated series.
Oh, yeah. I don't... In that case, probably not. Although the Hollow does look pretty cool.
Because it is a story and a storyline and arcs that really do lend itself to being a great movie and or series. I mean, they've got really well-developed characters. There's a variety. You're not dealing with the same thing every time. I like it. I like stories where the woman is kick butt, you know? She's not relying on a man to come save her. She does her own thing.
Exactly what insults.
And then, well, no, I want the girl to be.
Yeah, well, believe me, I mean,
kick butt.
Most female audiences do. Except for people who are too much into romantic comedies.
Oh no, no.
I don't know.
There's some of that in there, but no, I don't really read romantic books. I hate those. You can keep your heaving bosoms. I don't care. But it's really cool.
Who says you can't kick butt and have heaving bosoms as well?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just it never appealed to me. I don't know. So, but as I said, the thing that attracted me to the series a billion years ago when she started this, not really, it was the 90s, but still. The first couple of these books have like their Dirty Harry titles. Like Every Which Way But Loose, and which is WITCH.
Oh.
And so they would kind of spoof off that, and the first, I want to say 3 or 4 titles are like that. And so, of course, I saw it on the shelf. I was like, oh, okay, let me give this a try.
She loves Dirty Harry.
And my ex-husband and I have read all of them. You know, I think it's the first time Paul's ever come in where I've been reading a book and it just rips my heart out and I'm like bawling like a baby. You know, those books. So.
That happened to me with There's a Monster at the End of this book.
Mackenzie loves that book.
So do I.
Because she likes the dramatization, you know.
I believe Paul.
You got it. I have been using them some, not like as soon as they become available, but I haven't been forgetting them too much.
But yeah.
Yeah, you have to do better with it.
There's another series that is, and that's one I'm reading the new book now, is Mercy Thompson.
Yeah, and I was not familiar with either of these series. They don't... But yeah, there's a bunch of books, so they must be pretty popular.
And I'm waiting for the new Dresden.
That's not out of Texas back in a long time.
Finally bringing out the new Dresden. Thank you, Tom.
Dresden Falls?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that did get a TV series, right?
Yeah, but it was only a season. And that was horrible because it was really good. I loved it. I loved it. I wish they would make, series out of all these. My ex-husband and I, as I said, we read all the Hollow series books, and we would go into, well, who's going to play this character and who's going to play this character? Because it is really written like it could be a good, either series and or movie. But, I don't know. I thought it was awesome. And I read for pleasure. I don't read for, I don't read a whole lot of autobiographies or, technical or self-help or whatever. I just usually read for, that's a story.
Yeah, I read the technical stuff for pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure and work, of course.
Hey, there is nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. It's just when I'm reading, it's that escape. It's like watching a movie or watching a, series.
So now we're at an actual boss. I think this is the first time we've gotten to a boss, guys. Even though it acts like there's only 8 levels, but it looks like each one level has multiple segments, if I'm understanding correctly, because there's no way this is just the 3rd level. Haven't I just played through several of these? Machine boss. Look, this is the thing from the end of Superman 3, guys. Anyway.
Apparently, Icky reads it for pleasure.
Yeah.
I actually...
Everybody else does too.
Well, you know, when I was in my 20s, I had a subscription for a while, and I actually did look forward to the articles more than anything else about it.
Sure, Paul. Everybody looks
like the video game reviews were terrible though. Like they would have these short little video game reviews, and it was like, did this guy even like games? I couldn't tell from the crap he was writing. But
I'm pretty sure he assumed that nobody was going to guitar.
But I mean, there's things like Fight Club. Chuck Palahniuk, the writer of Fight Club, he wrote either Fight Club itself got started as a short story in there, or at least he wrote a really good short story for it. Oh yeah, actually no, it was not Fight Club itself, and it was a short story. And I'm not even gonna say it was really good, but it was interesting and kind of gross. And but there was a lot of, they would get really good short stories and just you know, celebrity interviews and things like that. So it's not like, you know, there's other magazines. It's not really appropriate for Stream Talk, but there's other magazines with more hardcore content, and they're less likely to have such a good focus on the writing part.
Yeah, I'm putting it in quotation marks. My ex-husband liked it for the fashion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was one thing I enjoyed about it was they would review like products. You know, like there'd a section at the end where there'd be all these cool gadgets and clothing and things, and yeah, I liked the gadget section.
Actually, that's why I like Maxim magazine, because I love reading all the men's stuff articles.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I used to like Maxim for the same reason.
They had a really, and I just say they have a really good interview with Hannibal Lecter.
Oh.
The guy's Hannibal Lecter.
Harrison Ford?
No, Harrison Ford is not Hannibal Lecter. Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
It was a really good interview.
From Indiana Jones.
I totally.
I'm pretty sure that's not where he's most famous, but we'll go with that.
It's not in Indiana Jones.
And it had nothing to do. It was a very appropriate.
Well, good. Yeah. Oh, did I win? I won! Yay, achievement!
Yes.
Yeah, we
You
get
won
those
with
achievements.
Baba
Yeah,
Beans.
baby.
Destroyed the machine boss.
Machine boss is toast.
Bye-bye.
Do you like fava beans, Paul?
Why am I keep...
With a nice Chianti.
No. I do like I like black beans and refried beans to some extent, a limited extent.
He totally missed that reference.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
not either.
seriously? You have to watch them, dude.
Yes.
I have the
have
Blu-ray
them.
set. Well, we have them, yeah, but I just haven't seen any of them.
The books are good too. The books are
Paul,
really good.
your
Ah,
selection
why-
of shows that on your priority list are really messed up. You keep
I
trying
like-
to teach you, but you won't learn.
You know,
He hasn't seen Immortal Beloved either.
Superhero stuff and anime is kind of my primary interest for watching things.
Yeah.
But
He hadn't seen
Yeah, but you
Immortal
don't even
Beloved.
watch the good ones, though.
you're so wrong about that. The only superhero shows I
If
haven't
you're trying to watch
watched
the DC movies, those are not the good ones.
well, not necessarily the movies, but the only superhero shows I haven't watched that people say are good are Watchmen and The Boys, and I will watch Watchmen. I'm probably
You
not
said
gonna
you
watch
haven't
The
seen
Boys.
the Watchmen movie, or are you talking about the Watchmen show?
The show. People say the show is very good, even though it's a Damon Lindelof show, and Damon Lindelof sucks a bunch of donkey parts.
I haven't seen the show myself. The reviews on it were kind of mixed.
I saw the movie.
Like
I didn't see
everybody
the
I
show.
know who's into superhero stuff loves it, so I definitely would like to watch it. And we have HBO Max, although HBO Max does not support 4K right now, which is totally stupid, but you can buy it on 4K Blu-ray. So let's see, Bullet Clear. Let's try for Homing Missiles.
But yeah, there's a whole list of movies that I had that we're gonna have to work through. So
Yeah, and I'm showing her a lot of things that I like, you know,
Yeah.
particularly Japanese things, which she's been really cool about.
I like them.
Yeah,
And
because
it's really good for my daughter because she's in first grade, but she's on a third grade reading level, and so she has to read the subtitles, and that it's good practice for her.
yeah, there you go.
So
Thank you, Big Latino Heat. It's not over yet, Big Latino Heat. As you can see, I'm still alive.
Have you even watched My Hero yet?
My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
I've finished the first season, and I'm like in the middle of the second season. I'm gonna have to start it over because Brandy hasn't seen any
yeah, I
of it.
haven't seen it either.
But yeah, I like
you,
it.
you watch it in English or subtitled now, because they're all the way up to season 3.
We watch it. I watch it dubbed. I like the English voices.
We watched some more Demon Slayer this week.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is so great.
Oh, and
it's on Hulu.
Konosuba.
Yeah, Konosuba, which is a great fantasy anime and a bit of a comedy.
Yeah.
Very good show. Not highly serialized, so like there is an ongoing plot, but it doesn't develop very much. But yeah, that show also I really love. It's like Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon, but just better. It's like that show but done 3 times better.
I said I like both, but they were doing a crossover event in PSO, and so we checked out the show.
Yeah, and we watch on HBO Max because it's on Crunchyroll, and HBO Max has some of the Crunchyroll stuff.
Yeah, you also want to watch Fire Force. That's my favorite for the last couple seasons.
Oh, interesting.
Gotta write this stuff down.
I haven't heard of that one. What it? Did
really
No Time
awesome
for Games? Show. No Time for Games says 400. Is that that's not a bit donation, is it? Is he just saying?
No,
400?
he was saying Darker Player said they're gonna guess how many times you're gonna die this level.
Oh well, that's 400. That's cold.
I'm saying 3. Put my bets on 3.
Real cold, but
we're
got
trying
my
to be
hopes.
Conservative.
He got my hopes up for a while there. I was like, oh, bits, but no bits. Yeah, the cat is misbehaving. You swear no water if you have to.
Fire Force is kind of neat. That follows basically a world that's been caught up by human combustion. And the main character is this kid who's trying to basically find his place in the world, where he just grew up trying to be a firefighter, fighting all of these people that are dying. He just finally got to do one. I won't say anything more because it basically gives away the plot.
Are you saying spontaneous combustion? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Wow,
what is
that's
it called?
Unique. Fire Force.
Fire Force.
Yeah, I've never heard of that at all. That does sound interesting, though. Yeah, I hear good things about Dr. Stone, and isn't there like a Blu-ray set?
Really good. They really need another season that to release right away. It's one of those shows where you sit down and watch the season and you're like, it's over already? No.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I liked Basic Instinct quite a lot, so to see what's happened to Sharon Stone, she went on to become a doctor, it's very exciting.
I got these things written down.
Trust me, that is not how that plays out.
When she, like, she flips her legs around, you know? That was just revolutionary at the time.
Food Wars?
Yeah,
Food Wars, I like the first 2 seasons, the latest season I'm not that big.
Yeah, I know somebody in our crew likes it, but I can't remember who. We also like that show Cells at Work. That's a good show, although we got about a third of the way into it and it stopped. We should go back to it sometime.
I was basically the same thing. I couldn't make it through it.
Well, it's very highly technical. They get really far into the immune system really quick. And of course, being a biology, life science major, I know what they're talking about all the time, but it kind of gets a little overwhelming with vocabulary and distinctions, individual distinctions. So.
Well, for me, the problem
my issue was just from a storytelling standpoint, it just got bored.
You need more it does not have strong characters, you know, because it does follow a couple of characters, but they're very simple, cartoony representations of cells. Like, they don't have the depth that you would normally get from a show's characters. So that is kind of what holds it back for me. But it's still an awesome show.
Yeah.
It would be good for school.
And it's, the character, I mean, if you're actually relating it to the body, then, you know, cells don't stick around forever. So
Jordan actually likes Space Force. I gave up on that series like 4 episodes in. It just became too dry.
That's too bad. Yeah, isn't it a comedy?
Yeah, it's the new Steve Carell show.
Yeah, I like
so
Steve
it's
Carell.
basically the Office of the military.
And space, right? Sci-fi.
Well, not really space. Space Force. You know President Trump thing that everybody started memeing?
Yeah.
Where he's like, we're going to make... Yeah, the entire show is based off that very, very bad idea.
Yeah.
But they take it to its natural, ridiculous extremes.
Interesting.
So it's barely science fiction, basically.
Well,
more just science humor.
I wouldn't mind seeing it, but yeah.
It's on Netflix.
Ooh,
Cool.
what was that giant thing?
I don't know.
I think it was just grain.
Oh yeah, like kind of some background details. Yeah, there's something moving around.
Yeah, you got like 9% health.
One thing I'd like to talk about real quick, guys, is I mentioned this in the newsletter. I have a teaching interview on Monday. They called me Friday, so just yesterday they called me and set me up with this interview. I'm very excited for it. It's at a high school, so I would still be doing the same grade level. Like, I'm open to teaching middle school or even elementary, but like middle school wouldn't be too bad an adjustment. But being able to stay in high school would be the easiest thing for me as far as using the skills that I've already developed and the work I've already developed, you know, the lessons and things.
Yeah, it is near where we live, too.
Thank you, Platinum. Thank you so much for reading it. I appreciate that. So that is encouraging. One thing that I'm not so happy about is I actually have a local friend who also has an interview for this job. Like that, he goes in at 1 p.m., I go in at 2 p.m. And he already has a teaching job. Like he has a middle school teaching job, and it's a little bit frustrating for me because he just doesn't need it, you know. So like I don't like being in competition with somebody who does not even need the job. But let's just hope that I can make better representation. You know, like we're friends from college and stuff, and I like him and everything. We do have some major differences. I'm definitely smarter. He has more teaching experience. Just different things. But we'll just have to see.
In this country, especially Texas, that's smarter than me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, being really smart isn't necessarily seen as a strength in teaching. It's not always seen as one, I should say, because you can say I'm smarter than the person interviewing me, then I intimidate the person interviewing me. They don't necessarily look at it and think, oh, cool, that's just what we need. They'll be like, oh, this guy thinks he's so full of himself. You know, like...
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, so it's... But, I mean, I know the material. I know English very well. I know it, and I know it better than him, but again, it's not a contest. I'm sure he's a very fine teacher. But I would love this job. I need it. You know, he's already got one. I need it. There's other people who are applying too, obviously, who are interviewing, and maybe some of them need it too. But gosh, I really would love to get that job.
Okay, everything you're describing sounds like way too many animes that I've watched.
Who?
You're basically the teacher versus the other teachers.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is kind of like a drama of some sort. But anyway, when he told me he had the interview, then I was like, oh man, because I don't want to compete with a friend. That's not appealing at all. But you know, I'll just try to make the best of things. I'll do my best. Hopefully, they'll see. I don't know if I've told you.
I would love to lose the competition I'm in right now.
Aw. Yeah, because she got shoved over to a different subject, which we talked about on Tuesday, but I think we may not have talked about it on the mainstream.
I'm teaching physics next year. Yay.
Yeah, and she was a biology teacher. Like, when Brandy and I were just talking and we weren't in a relationship yet, you know, I was like, I'm talking to a biology teacher. I have a date with a biology teacher. You know, like, I was just so thrilled by that, and now it's going to be a physics teacher.
Because now you finally know about the virgin bees.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it took him a while.
Can't say anything about it.
Can't say, yeah. But basically, our long-term physics teacher left, and I knew when he left they were going to do something like that because I have the science and the math, so, you know.
At least they put someone in who actually has a decent enough background to do it versus
Yeah.
The usual bureaucracy of, hey, you're a warm body. Go do this.
Yeah, last year there was, what subject did she teach? Was it IPC? There was a woman, a young woman, who was quite beautiful, which is fine, but she was a science teacher and she didn't know the material very well, and that was frustrating for Brandy, and I don't blame her, you know? Like, when I see English teachers who don't know the material very well, which I do sometimes, that's frustrating for me.
Hey, Jono, good to see you.
Yeah, well,
And
Jono's
Gratz
been here,
hasn't
hasn't he?
Smile, and Gratz.
Oh.
There's somebody else.
You were here. Oh, I see. He was just sitting in the room, but he wasn't actually actively watching. That's got to be what it was. Is this a real shield this time?
She is a really pretty girl. There's a whole backstory about that.
The scandal. Can we talk about the scandal? No, probably shouldn't. Huh?
Probably shouldn't. But, I mean, she was getting a test on, it was just elements in the periodic table, and she asked me, how do you know how many valence electrons they are? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's just like, I was like, what group are they in? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, guess what? +1, +2, +3, plus or minus 4, and then it goes backwards. Really? And she was
Just
giving
say
a
Google
test
it.
on this.
Yeah. I mean, there's been English things that I didn't quite know all the way, like who versus whom. That's something that a lot of people don't have mastery of.
That's a little different than basic science stuff, though.
Yeah, you want to be at a certain level in the subject before you're teaching it, right? And it does seem like maybe she was a little bit below that level.
Well, she had a philosophy, I think, degree or psychology degree or something like that.
I think it was psychology.
So a useless degree to teach sciences.
Pretty much.
Right, but see, like anyone can in Texas, anyone can teach any one subject for a year before they get the specific certification for that subject.
Right.
So she must. I would hope she had passed the PPR, which is the general certification everyone has to have.
That I have no idea.
Yeah, but yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like trying to teach a subject and then get your certification.
There is, but if
year.
you're the person that's trying to learn from it,
well, I mean,
you're basically in a fail state.
Well, what I mean is, like, whether you have the certification or not, if you know the stuff well enough, there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, it does sound like
but again,
that was the problem here.
And that's the part I was worried about, honestly, because I was biology, chemistry. I can do those backwards and forwards. Physics, I've got the math, but, you know, if you start getting into theoretical or, you know, space and all that, I don't have the background. I just don't. But it's all algebra
you're in high
based.
school, so you shouldn't have to worry about theoretical physics.
Yeah, no,
If you
it's
barely
not.
touch applied physics.
Oh yeah, it's all algebra based with some trig and geometry, and I can do that, so I'm not worried.
Icky, by the way, says that he is bad at English because of his teachers. So, Icky, way to... What do you call that? Like when you put it past the buck? I don't know.
That's literally what it's called. Passing the buck.
But yeah, no, it does... I'm sure that made things challenging, Icky. Although, I mean, your English is perfectly good, you know, like... I can't understand what Icky means maybe 1 out of 100 times. You know, it's not like... I've known plenty of other ESL-type people, and I don't understand what they're saying like a fourth of the time, you know, so it's like... He's good enough at communicating what he wants to say, and we all love him.
What? Valencies aren't taught in university?
Valence electrons? Really? Where? Who's saying that?
That's what Platinum said.
Oh, interesting.
Why not?
I have
think
no
that would be
idea.
the like 101 class.
I know, it's like, it's the reason any
Fundamentals.
element bonds to another.
Yeah.
You can teach that with water, I mean...
Yeah, I don't know.
They refuse to discuss it. Strange.
Is this
Okay.
it's
Are
probably a
they
specific university?
is it
or-
Texas University?
Yeah,
Oh.
it makes it sound like it.
It says New York, NYU.
See,
That
Texas
makes
has
no
a...
sense.
We have a problem with our public school system in that government people meddle with, like, the history that is taught and things like that, and that is a problem. But in colleges, most of our colleges are the same as any other college
Right.
you would go to. Like, they're not like a censored hick version of science and history. They're just what you would get in any state. At least that applies to both of the schools that Brandy and I went to. Although I did have, at my junior college, the English teacher, she was like a bit overly religious, so she said some goofy things. Like, we were learning about Inherit the Wind, the play about the Scopes monkey trial or whatever it's called. And she said that carbon dating is known to be inaccurate or something, and it's like, no, carbon dating works on scientific principles. Like, the only people who think that are people who think the world isn't really billions of years old.
Well, no, accurate, but
It
it's
is.
inaccurate in the sense of you're trying to measure one picoliter of water out of the ocean. It's not that
Yeah.
it's wrong;
Achievement.
it's that
And also, like,
could be more
it's
precise.
too broad of a range. They can't pinpoint it to, oh, it was made in 1937. It's like 1900s to 20.
Right, but you know, things decay, carbon or whatever it is
Right.
decays at a certain rate, and
Yes,
that rate is
yes.
accurate. It doesn't change.
Yes, and it's an approximation.
yeah, and again, it's just something an overly religious person would think.
Bye,
And-
Icky.
So it's been really fun hanging out with all of you tonight. I'm so glad to be back streaming from the PC, not the console, so you guys can see me and we can see chat on the video, and it's a lot of fun this way. We've been playing Hovership Havoc for Xbox One. It is also available on Steam. It is not currently available on PlayStation or Switch, surprisingly, although I really think they should try to bring it to those platforms if they can. But it's pretty cool. It's a twin stick shooter with a bit of a roguelike mechanics to it with the upgrades and such. And as you can see, as you get upgrades, it really does get easier. I was able to get farther, and I was having a good time with it. So I look forward to playing it more. Definitely recommend it if you didn't win a copy. I want to thank everybody for watching. Tech Guy, Bob Jones, Link, Darker Player, Philosophy, everybody. It is single player only, which Philosophy told me. I should have noticed when he said that. Twin stick shooters really should have local multiplayer, so that's a shame. But it's a good game. But Brandy, thank you as always.
Always.
Icky, thank you for running the contest like a boss.
Yeah,
Tom, PerfectZer0, thanks for being a great co-host tonight.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next Saturday. And remember, don't hate, appreciate.
Bye, guys.
Too bad Tyler couldn't be on mic. What an S.O.B. Bye, Justin. Great to see you. Ectotastic, also very cool to see you. Thank you.
Great combo tonight, guys. That was great.
Jono, hope everything's alright, Jono, my bro. Grailmeister, if you're still around. Heaven Smile. Should we even bother rating Moxie Mary? She did follow me back. Homie Drew, I'm glad you're here too, bro. He's my homie. It's Tino Heat, Deadpool.
It's in his name.
Was Oblivion here? I didn't notice if Oblivion was here.
I don't know.